Okay. So I came to the first meeting, and I'm a solutions-oriented person, and so I left the first meeting in Lincoln Park. Okay. So I'm a solution-oriented person, and I laid out a couple of ideas, and I want to continue to lay out some today. The first idea I laid out was meeting with community leaders. Pamela, the Jersey City Anti-Violence Coalition, she's a leader elected by the people. She's definitely one to work with. The Ministers Alliance is another one. I was here at an event, and there's a group of churches that work together here. I forget, I think it was a couple of years ago. Yes, Jersey City Togetherness is it. There's plenty of people, a plethora of people to work with. You should certainly take advantage of that.
Can I just say one thing on that, just to go through the question?
Right.
They've started, our deputy mayor, who's not here, Brady Phillips, I think, last is on. But they have started, as a result of that, a youth council focused on outreach. Pam is actually on the list of people that they're reaching out to if they haven't done it yet. They have, okay, so they, oh, okay, look at that, so there, okay. But I know they have the honeybees on that, they have some of the people involved in different communities, some ministers, and the goal is to, as a result of that board meeting, to have better outreach specifically touching kids, because we could talk back and forth in a lot of ways here in this room, and we're missing really a group ultimately that's crucial to really any problem solving, which is the ones that we're talking about, but they're not really in this room right now. So that is moving as a result of that board meeting.
That is good to know, and it kind of supports my second thing. It sounds like you have a PR problem. So I hear in every meeting that you're doing things. I hear people in the community. There's a lot of organizations that are doing things. You should promote what it is you're doing. Information, jobs. I can't imagine that there's youth jobs that people are not showing up for. They don't know that they're there. So just work on that. I think if you get better PR in the community, then that can also help your case. And then people aren't showing up at these meetings kind of coming at you. The other thing I wanted to talk about is casino. I think the casino personally is a great idea. I understand the whole concept of ratables coming in, but what we do need to do is to ensure that jobs for Jersey City residents come out of that. The Hyatt came, they hired people. I know several people who were on the hired list until the hotel opened, and they never got the job. So on the books, they looked like they had the people, but they really didn't hire people from Jersey City. The other thing is arts, the quality of life. Pamela was talking about prevention. Prevention just isn't necessarily working with other law enforcement around the actual crimes, but really creating that quality of life. So the arts, cultural things, all of those things really spike different thought processes in people that really would prevent people from going down the wrong path. There's a guy named Vincent Key. He's running a big play at the theater in Journal Square, which we haven't seen a lot there, so that's really exciting. He's hiring a lot of young people to be in this play. I wish he could come to the council and say, hey, how can you help me? The kids are awesome. All of the people that are performing are awesome. The play is actually this weekend. If you guys can find a way to support him, he's trying to sell tickets. It's going to make a difference. I went to a practice. I saw the confidence in the kids grow because they were on stage and performing. So we really do need to support that. The other question I had was, it's one question actually, the rest were ideas, so you're welcome. The other thing I wanted to say, and I just wanted to touch back on information. Information does need to happen, and I think that was Pam's question about, what are you doing? Because the information isn't there. And I'm glad that you two are working together on something because that's very important. We respect her and we want that to happen. The other last thing is the tax reevaluation. My mother, very successful in life. She's older, she's 70 years old. She's on the other side of that chart. Now, if you do the reevaluation, will she still be able to afford that beautiful home that it's 25 rooms, she raised me in it, I love living there. Will she be able to keep her home after the reevaluation?
So, a lot of questions there.
A lot of ideas.
Let me just take a step. The most important thing is on the PR, whether it's recreation programs or jobs or youth opportunities. We could always do better on that, but we do a lot on that. The way that 1,000 jobs every summer, we're going through that process right now, gets put out there, Jersey Journal, it's in the Hudson Reporter, it's all over Facebook, we promote those, we go to ministers, every council person goes and fills them, and we still have a hard time filling them for the last couple of years. So, you know, we ultimately get there. That's the truth. Some people are lazy. That's true. That's true what you said. But the promotion is there. You got to meet us halfway ultimately. At some point, there, like I said earlier, there's a shared responsibility with the community that they got to look for those things because they're interested. There's no shortage of them. On the job training and the programs, I agree with you. On this council agenda, actually, is a setting up an office of holding people accountable ultimately for exactly what you touched on regarding incentives. Once the city gives them incentives, making sure that they are hiring Jersey City people and Jersey City people of color. That is actually on the council agenda for Wednesday. That's right, Rwanda, right? Or diversity, yeah, diversity inclusion, yeah. So you could look at it, come speak on it on Wednesday. It's actually on the council agenda. It is sad that nothing like this has existed for a long time, but our administration took the initiative to do it. It takes time to do it. It's on the council agenda this Wednesday. And then, what was the final point that you had over there? I'm going to tell you my belief on the rebound, and I've said this at every single board meeting that I've been up to. It's important for you to kind of understand that I adamantly believe that this revow will be detrimental to Jersey City and will be hurtful for residents of Jersey City. And I have not been a supporter of it on the council, and I continue to not be a supporter of it on the council, in my current position. Let's talk about why. So this started in a way that is beyond questionable, borderline corrupt. There was a $3.2 million contract that was given to a revow company. The business administrator who was working for the city right after the contract was given went to go work for the revow company, okay? Now, that is a flag. There are rules all up and down in Jersey City against that. But, you know, the previous administration gave a go-ahead onto that. Now, that means that a person coming to your house and doing this revow may not be the best person qualified, may not have won that contract in the best sort of way, and that raises serious flags. Why? Because if you look at revows that have happened elsewhere, or the history of this, you would say that this is a reason to be concerned. Let's start with when the revow was supposed to happen. Very simple question, right? It was supposed to happen in early 2013, right before the election for mayor. And then it miraculously was delayed. I would ask you, take a step back and say that if a revow was going to be good for residents, do you think it would have happened before the election or after the election? I think we all can agree that it would have happened before the election. That's number one. Number two, if you have any questions about what has happened elsewhere on this, talk to people who went through this in the late 90s and the late 80s, who went through it in Jersey City. Talk to people who are going through it in Hoboken right now, in Passaic now, in Patterson now. It is one of the most disruptive things that can happen in all of Jersey City. People's property value, property taxes, in some cases will double, in some cases will triple, okay? That's fact, ultimately. Now, you can say that, hey, I read somewhere that some people go up, some people go down, and some people stay the same. You could say that. I'm going to say two things to that, okay? There are multiple components. Before you focus on the residential side of this, there is a commercial side as well. There is a shift that happens in the revow, first between commercial and residential, and then within residential, some people go up, some people go down, and some people stay the same. But it doesn't mean the switch between commercial and residential is equal. It doesn't mean that. What it does mean is that that could be disproportionately towards commercial, not towards commercial. All I base it on is what has happened historically, which has been very volatile and disruptive to people living here ultimately. So I base my decision on that ultimately, because I know that it will hurt people. Now let's say you say that I am wrong. Let's say you say that I'm wrong. I believe, let's say, Reverend, you say that I think I'm going to be in the 1/3 of people whose property taxes will go down. Okay? and you're adamant that you're going to go down. Maybe you'll go down $500, maybe $700. Let's say you say you want to go down, you think you're going to go down $1,000. Fine, we're going to go with that argument. So, everybody agrees, okay, that areas of the city will go up. Generally, they point to the downtown area as going up the most. I would argue that most of the city is going to end up going up, but everybody agrees that the downtown area will go up the most. Let's say that somebody living on Hamilton Park, that their taxes triple. Let's say that it's possible. Let's say their taxes triple ultimately. So if their taxes triple, their property value, the value of the home, goes down. It's common sense, right? Paying higher taxes, the value of the home goes down. That's the way things work, right? So I'd ask each and every one of you, and whether you're living in the Heights, where I live, or Country Village, or the West Side, what happens to one area of the city, although you like to think, and some people like to argue, it's one area against the area, other area, it's all one city at the end of the day. It really is. So if you can get a house for $200,000 cheaper, say, in Hamilton Park, do you think that the property value in the rest of the city is going to stay the same? Or will it go down a little bit everywhere? Obviously, it goes down a little bit everywhere throughout the city. So I would say to you that even if you believe in this corrupt practice of how it was awarded, even if you believe that you will be a winner in that 1/3 winner, which I would argue against, but even if you believe that your property taxes will go down $500 or $1,000, fine, I'll give you that argument. And your property value, the home value that you own, could go down $40,000 or $50,000. And to me, that's not a trade that makes sense for residents. I believe
Get rid of the abatements,
that,
Steve.
what I believe.
Get rid of the abatements, all right? Make it fair equalization.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Let's talk about it instead of the same old crap where the numbers don't work.
So
Let's talk about that. Yes, you give them out like candy canes. Let's talk about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, we're ready.
So when we took office, okay, we were very clear. Let me finish the readout and then we're going to the babies thing because it's both important ultimately. As long as I am standing here, I am telling you that I will continue this position that I have and continue to fight for this position because I believe it's in your best interest. And despite what people may say for political reasons, which you should question, when some people are arguing for a revow, political people, yet they live in tax-abated buildings that won't be affected, that should be a flag for you. When we have somebody at another meeting who says at the Ward E meeting that he's arguing for the revow so he could cancel his tax abatement so his taxes go down because your taxes go up, you should ask the people who are arguing for it, where is that coming from? Ask about their intentions first. I will go to sleep in the next 2 years, every single night on this issue, knowing that I did right by you. You could vote me out of office in a year and a half, and I would still say that I did right by you, that I protected longtime residents for the right reasons in a practice that started entirely in the wrong situation and would hurt longtime residents. I believe that. On tax abatements, let's shift to tax abatements. I ran for office and I was crystal clear about what we were going to do. Crystal clear. We put it into, yes, crystal clear, okay?
Make the words match.
Ma'am, I'm just going to explain it to you if you give me 1 second.
You know who I am. I had a tax, all right, I had a fundraiser for you. Come on, let's talk about it. Give me a chance. I want to hear what your crystal
Okay, listen. We said all along that we would gradually scale back the abatements downtown and increase the abatements elsewhere in the city to incentivize development. That is exactly what we did. Exactly. We followed that exactly. Now, you may not like that, right? That is fair. But you'd be hard-pressed to say that we deviated from what we said. For the first time in 30 years, we have incentivized development away from the waterfront. For the first time. That's not accidental. For the first time last week, let me just say something. For the first time last week, for the first time in 20 years, we broke ground on a 900-foot building, the biggest building in the state of New Jersey. No tax abatement. No tax abatement. Directly on the waterfront.
Where?
So,
The Chinese one?
Look, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
That's what it is.
So you can argue it without facts, but I would argue if you look at the facts of the situation, it's hard pressed that we've deviated from anything that we've said. Yes. Well,
It doesn't want the abatement,
we're going-
that's why they don't take the abatement.